Shalom, call all Yahbashim Yahshai, Yahbashim Yahshai, Bashim Kakadash Brakatham. Double honors to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessed salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth, sincerity. This is Ra'ab Ma'af with the Nebraska camp. This is GMS push to the NE push to the mark. In this, I want to go over in this today's lesson. I want to go over Revelation chapter 20, alluding to these miscues from these other camps. Okay, and the main miscue is going over the 1,000 years. There's two sets of 1,000 years within the scriptures, and they're not the same 1,000 years. And also, while we're dealing with the 1,000 years, what is the 1,000 years? Just going into the 1,000 years and explaining it and elaborating on it, because some says an allegory, all kind of things like that. So we're going to go start off in Revelations 20:1. It says, "And I saw an angel coming down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years." Okay, so now when you go into that bottomless pit, okay, that is talking about Europe. Okay, and why is because of its soil. And with that, I went and looked up on, I think it's Beef to Live, Eat Better, Live Better. That's the name of the site. Beef, like the food, to live. Number 2, LIVE. All right, and within this paragraph in itself, this article was put out on September 11th, 2023. Okay, and in the second paragraph of this article, it tells you that the EU is the world's largest importer and at times the largest exporter of agricultural commodities in competition with the United States. Why they're the largest importer? Because their soil doesn't produce enough, because like even here, not saying that America has multi ecosystems, you can say. You got California, it's a lot of rain, a lot of rich soil over there. You got the Midwest, it's got a good soil over here. But on the East Coast is more like Europe. Okay, you can't really grow shit. All right, that's pretty much Slovakia. You can't really grow too much over there. Okay, in the South, the agriculture is really good. Okay, but yeah, so the pit, which is synonymous to the ground. Where's my? Okay, and the same scripture is being brought out and things like that. Let me see here. All right, so in 2nd Ezra 5:24, it says, and of all the lands of the world thou hast chosen one pit, and of all the flowers thou hast chosen one lily. Okay, and matter of fact, I'll just go get up one more verse to just get the meat off the bone. It says in verse 2nd Ezra 5:23, and said, "O Lord, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one vine, only one vine, one only vine." Now, this is another thing. Within that scripture in itself is a context clue. It says, "O Lord, that bears rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one vine." So the Lord bears rule over everything. Okay. That's just, a little side part. And it says, "Of all the lands of the whole earth, thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof one lily, and of all the depths of the sea thou hast filled thee one river, and of all the builded cities thou hast chosen thee, thou hast hallowed Zion unto thyself." That's key as well. So this is just proof that, pits. There's chosen places, and pits are considered lands. Okay, so within that, going into it is that you could say mainly Great Britain would be that pit. Okay, but Europe because Spain can grow Spain can grow their grapes and stuff like that. I low key want to look up and see the world's exports and see if I can find something via images and see who's dominating in what product. Okay. Matter of fact, let's see here. I'm gonna have to word it a little bit different. The world's exports by agriculture. See if I can put in agriculture and country. See if that'll make things better. Because I can't find it. I'm wording it wrong, and I'm not going to spend too much time on trying to word it correctly. Yeah, so this is a little bit better. Okay, so largest producers by commodities. Okay, now what I may do is I may take this still and just keep it and probably use it as a a thumbnail. But I wish y'all could see it, but there's a map showing the world's largest producers, and you have Canada with the oats, you have corn, beef, chicken, cow milk, the U.S., then you got sugarcane, Brazil, you have bananas, India, eggs, apples, potatoes, greens, China, pork, rice, wheat, barley, China, and then pork, rice, wheat, China, barley, sugar beets, Russia. There is absolutely none, and it's crazy because Africa has other assets, but Africa is definitely one of them. But the whole of Europe is blank as well. Okay, and this is just proof that in Slovakia, even if we go into Africa, they got Africa is really minerals and things like that, things of that nature. But mainly this is just showing how these countries like even when you're talking about like Russia and Russia and what you call it, America, are the most grain producers. Okay, but the whole point is that Europe is not able to provide any agriculture via food to survive. And they can't grow anything there because it's a bottomless pit. And when you go into the blue letter, okay, when we go into Revelations 20:1 and go into that word bottomless, okay, see here, the bottomless pit. It says bottomless, unbounded, the abyss, the pit, an immersible depth of occurs a very deep gulf or chasm in the lowest part of the earth, used as a common receptacle of the dead, and especially as the abode of demons, which is bullshit. Okay, that last one was just trying to throw people off. Okay, yeah, that's not really giving anything too much to it to see if we got anything in the interlinear, and we'll just move along. See here. I wanna I might go into, but yeah, they're not gonna the Bible and the blue letter in itself is not gonna give it to you, because they're gonna give us a bunch of bones, because this is gonna say, it's not gonna say it's Europe, okay? It's not gonna say it's the agriculture, because you're gonna put two and two together, okay? But you know, the bottomless pit is pretty much bottomless, unbounded abyss. Okay, and let's see if my etymology works. It never works on this computer. Yeah, I don't know what it is. But yeah, man. So let's get back to it. Salaki for that. But because I want to get to it says the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil. Okay. When you go into that, all right, that dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil. Okay. See here, Salaki. I got to make sure I have. Yep. So when you go into that serpent, which is called the devil, the word devil means prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely, a culminator, false accuser, slanderer, metaphor applied to a man who, by opposing the cause of the Most High, may be said to act as part of the devil or to side with him. Okay. And that's where this is it. This where that the metaphor of the devil, word devil, applies in the scripture, because it's not talking about. And when you go into the word devil in words, it's false accusers and slanderer. Okay, and that goes back into Esau. Okay, Esau is the wicked who rules the world. Okay, going back to Job 9:24. You know, matter of fact, let's get that just for the spirit's sake. Okay, we're going to Job 9:24. Get it on my phone, so I don't lose my place. All right, Job chapter 9, verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Okay, and Esau is that serpent in that time, because who was now there is Jake and Esau in Europe, but during this time, this is talking about Esau's period of time being in Europe. Okay, via through that serpent, that old devil, that's which is a slanderer. Okay, a lot of slander came from that bottomless pit. Hey, the Renaissance came from that bottomless pit. You know, you could say Christianity came from that bottomless pit. Okay, but we'll get back to it. All right, it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him. Okay, that he should deceive the nations no more till the thousand years be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed in a little season. So what is that 1,000 years? Okay, the Lord set a seal upon Satan, which we're going to say it is the so-called white man, of specifically those in Europe, which is pretty much all of them, because that's when you go into just the understanding, you know, wrong button. When you go into the understanding of this, why is it doing that? All right, and you go into see here the dragon or the beast, okay, and the whore that rideth upon it. When you go into the Greeks, British, German minor, German major, Spanish, French, Romans, what is that? It's Europe, okay? And they also, and it's also known as what? The European Union, okay? It's also known as what? The European Union. So, you know, the seven heads, 7 governments or kingdoms that are what? Ruled by who? Esau, okay? So let's go back to the scriptures. Let's see where we at. There we go. Click on that. Bring Ian back up. Yeah. What are they doing? Satan is donating and stuff and all that. So going back to the scriptures, we all in the way with these advertising, man. That shit is just annoying. Pop-ups and advertising all day. Like it says to the 1,000 years. So going back to Revelations chapter 20 and 3, it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit, that's Europe, right? And shut him up and set a seal upon him. Okay, when was that time that it was shut up? That was during what? The Dark Ages. During the Dark Ages is when Jake was ruling. Okay, and that seal is pretty much not allowing him. The seal is a barrier. You seal something, you close it off. Okay, you stop it from getting access to things. And the main thing the seal was on him was being able to rule. Okay. And he goes to the word seal. It says to set a seal marked with a seal to seal for security from Satan, since things sealed up or concealed as the contents of a letter, to hide, keep in silence. Okay. Keep secret in order to mark a person or a thing, to set a mark upon by impress or a seal or stamp. Angels are said to be sealed by the Most High in order to prove, confirm, or attest a thing, to confirm, authenticate, place beyond doubt of a, like seal the deal of a written document, to prove one's testimony to a person that he is what he professed to be. But within his seal, this is talking about, he ain't gonna set a seal upon him like he sealed the deal. No, it's talking about he set a seal upon him to keep him in silence. Okay, ultimately to hide him from what? Hide him from rulership, hide him from having a seat at the table. Okay, and like I said, that's during the Dark Ages, and that 1,000 years. When we go into that 1,000 years in this particular verse, in verse 4. Salakia, not that verse. I didn't say verse 4. I meant verse 3. Okay, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years be fulfilled. Okay, and that 1,000 years is during the time of the Dark Ages, starting with the Holy Roman Empire. You can say with a as a concrete. Let's see here. On here. Close that out. Okay, I want to get the actual timeline. Okay, so when you go into the times or that time that Jake began to rule, you could say with Jake, Nerva, born Marcus Cosius Nerva, the 8th November, just going into that, yeah, so he came pretty much after Nero, through the Flavian dynasty. Okay, so this is when Jake pretty much began to I don't think that's, let me see here, make sure this is the right guy. Yeah, this is the dude who was Roman Emperor Nerva, and what did he do? Now, this is the guy. This guy we talking about here. I almost had the wrong guy. Shit here. Okay. Yeah. So it's the same guy. I'm just making sure. Because even in the bus you can see that there's an afro. A little curly afro. It says Marcus Cosius Nerva emerged from the shadows of Roman history to rise to the imperial throne and steer the empire from the brink of chaos. His short yet pivotal reign marked the dawn of a golden age, laying the groundwork for the illustrious Nerva Antonian dynasty. A short but pivotal reign of just 15 months, Emperor Nerva did more for Rome in that time than many of his predecessors, and indeed his successors. He established a precedent of adoptive succession, enacted financial reforms, developed the transport system, and improved the food supply. Nerva restored peace to an empire which had threatened to spiral out of control during the reign of Domitian. Okay, so I ain't gonna go too much into Nerva, but it was around. Nerva was probably born around 30 A.D. See here, I'm gonna try to see if I can find the time he ruled. Following Vespasian's death by nature causes in 79 A.D. Let's see here. Yeah, it's around 90 A.D., 96 A.D. He moved the Senate quickly. So it's around that time, right? So this is one of the Jakes, I would say, that got his way into Rome, all right? Because in that time, what was going on is that there was a lot of Rome pretty much was doing a lot of fighting. Their armies were scattered everywhere, and then the armies that were settled in these places of occupying, these generals were pretty much, they were king, and it was a lot of skirmishes. A king may go to Mesopotamia or wherever they go to Germany, and or wherever they was sent at to take care of a skirmish or take care of a land, and they took their armies with them. And it got so strong that there was really no protection for Rome. So it's like, we're your protection. What are you gonna do? I'm running shit now. I'm the captain now. Look at me. I'm the captain now. And that was going on, and that's pretty much how Jake, got into these positions. Was mainly because of being Roman generals, because it wasn't like how it is now. You vote somebody in, which is still like that, but a lot of the people that were voted in weren't sleazeballs that that was just in it for the money, and they used their money to get their way in. Some people did, but some people also came in through being a general. Okay, now once you go into back into another part, which is the Holy Roman Empire, okay, and going into that, let's see here, it's like it because I dove into that. I felt like it was a little bit unnecessary, but just wanted to dive into that. The Holy Roman Empire. See. So, see. I want to make sure. I don't want to go to the first click of the link. All right, so I'm actually going to go into the Roman Empire versus the Holy Roman Empire, just to show the distinction of. Come on now. There we go. Okay, it says later the Roman Empire was divided between the West and the East. The Holy Roman Empire was an attempt to revive the old Frankish Empire in modern-day Germany that was founded by Charlemagne, a Frankish king whose ancestors. Yeah, they're gonna tell you anything. It's probably around the ballpark. But Constantine was the catalyst to the Holy Roman Empire. Okay, why is Constantine a name that's mentioned? Is because Constantine is the one that brought Christianity to the Roman Empire, making it be associated with the Holy Roman Empire. Okay, Constantine is the one that his attempts was to merge paganism and the scriptures together. And what happened is that Constantine did not want to. He Constantine himself converted to Christianity, but he didn't want to agitate the fluidity of the culture of Rome, which was paganism. Okay. And so what he did was he merged a lot of pagan rituals. Christmas is a prime example. I'm not going to go too much because I don't want to make a false accusation, but Christmas is definitely one of them. I believe Easter is another one that was implemented, and instead of, he merged it with Christ's birth and I believe it's Saturnalia, or that holiday where they get drunk high and they just, and they be having orgies. Okay, then you got Easter as well. Okay, and they try to say, okay, a bunny rabbit and all that, and then it's also the Lord's resurrection. But the Lord was born on the Passover and he died on the Passover. So how is that two different times of the year? You put that together. But the whole point is, he was a Roman emperor. Matter of fact, let's read it in Constantine the Great. It says Constantine, also known as Constantine the Great, was Roman emperor from 306 AD to 337. Okay, 306 AD to 337. He was the first emperor to convert to Christianity. He was the first emperor to convert to Christianity. All right. So that's the beginning mark of the 1,000 years. Okay. You can say around the estimate. Okay. And then the end of that 1,000 years, that's the end of that seal, was what? The Renaissance period. Okay. So within that Renaissance period, let's say the 15th century, from around 1250 to 1300, you see, that's around 1,000 years. Because you said what we had it at. Let's go back, 306. That's what, 300 years, right? AD 300, and then the Renaissance. They said what? It was Slovakia. Go forward again. One more. All right. Yeah. It says the Proto-Renaissance, Slovakia, the early Renaissance of the 15th century, and the Italian Proto-Renaissance was around 1250 to 1300. 300. You can do the math. 1300 minus 300 is 1,000. Okay. So that's the 1,000-year period that Satan was sealed. And during that 1,000-year period was the Dark Ages, okay, because it was dark for them. Okay, they were void of light. They didn't have the knowledge. They didn't have these things. Because once you really go into the Renaissance period, the thing was, of course, it was a rebirth. You go into the word Renaissance, it goes into the word rebirth. Okay. Let's see if I can get that definition. Go to etymology. So it says great period of revival or classical based art and learning in Europe that began in the 14th century. Literally rebirth. Okay. Renaissance literally means rebirth. Okay. Rebirth of what? Of Esau. Okay. Because Esau was ruling during Rome and all that and things like that. And he came up through the Renaissance period. And you would think, well, how does so-called quote unquote art has an impact? Art has a lot of impact on everything, but it wasn't really art. It was really the technology and the cultural development, and the art had a lot to do with it because art imitates life. When they did the iconoclasms, things of that nature. But when I was doing research, a lot of things that I noticed was like Michelangelo and all those artists, they weren't just drawing things. They were drawing things to show how great they were. Because when you go into Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter, they tell you that they were trying to leave, monuments and matter of fact, let's get it real quick. I don't want to just go over it like that. So we're gonna go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter. See here, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. Okay, so I will start at verse 1. I'm gonna try to jump around if I can do it. It says, Wisdom of Solomon 2:1. It says, "For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious, and in death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave." So this is the thought of Esau, right? It says, "For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart, which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air." Yeah, they don't believe that everybody goes to the ground and the spirit shall go to the Father of spirits who live, right? They don't believe in that. Okay? It says, "And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. Our life shall pass away as a trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun and overcome with the heat thereof." So when we jump to verse 6, it says, "Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointment, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds, therefore, before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens." This is the point I wanted to get. "Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this." And that shows that what are those tokens, those monuments, those statues, and if you see every statue, and historically it has a big impact. Okay, how can you come and say that you're a ruling class when the ruling class of people were dark skinned? Okay, there's no way you can associate yourself to say you're the best in you're an elite bodybuilder, and every elite bodybuilder, you see it's all about genetics, and every bodybuilder was a Jake. You can't say it's all about genetics when you see somebody that has a superior genetic than you. Okay, so i.e. when you go into just ruling, okay, a ruling class mentality, ruling period, and you say you are fit to rule, manifest destiny, you're supposed to be doing this, but then there's Jake ruling through the Moors. That was mainly through the Moors that was ruling during the Dark Ages. And I believe it's Nature Knows No Color Lines, or I forget the name of the book. I believe I have it up there. I'm not, man. But yeah. So Jake was pretty much ruling in Europe, and Esau came up through the Vatican, through working his way up through to being the Pope. Okay, and throughout that working his way up, they also used Michelangelo and these artists. I forget the other guys, Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. I believe Michelangelo was used through the Medicis, and then Leonardo was used through the Pope. And they used these guys to make the image of Yahushua. They used these guys to make war machines. They used these guys to make architectural feats. And if you come fast forward to these times, these same people, their same tactic, not same people, but the same tactics are used for control. Okay, art. All right, when you go into music and movies, the main role is always the white girl and white man, and it shows even in the fight of gender to say there hasn't had a predominant female role to show what female empowerment. Okay, so it shows that art is a way of displaying power. Okay, because art is something that can be drilled into your mind. If you have a picture of Caesar Borgia, when the Lord's dark skin, so-called pale skin savior on your wall everywhere you go, then you're going to assume that the people look like him. Okay, then when you read the scriptures and you say that they're the holy people, the Falasha Jews that are in our land right now, Falasha JEWs, yeah, it's too late now. But yeah. So the Falasha JEUs, you know what I'm saying, they're in our land. They, that would prove that they're fake. Okay, going into Obadiah, that ambassador that was sent. Okay, to say that y'all wasn't Jews or JEUs. Okay, so continue back into Revelation. So that Revelations 3, that 1,000 years is talking about Esau being under Jake pretty much via through the Moors in Europe. Okay, because the Moors ruled Europe during that time. Matter of fact, I don't want to do this Google search and lose myself again, but I'm gonna, through the Spirit, it just put on me to go and do it, so I'm gonna do it. Okay. And so when you go into see, during what time did the Moors rule Europe? See what we can find here. The Moors, Esau be, wow, it's fucking hate these devils, man. But, it's estimated at around 632 and 1492. All right, so that's a little timeline. I'm gonna go to a different site, just bounce around. Okay, so we can go to Medieval Chronicles. I kind of like it already. Moors timeline. Okay, it says the Moors were Muslims or of Berber descent who came to conquer the Iberian Peninsula in the 8th century under the banner of Islam. Their conquest ushered in a long period of Muslim rule in modern-day regions of Spain and Portugal, a period that lasted for what? Nearly 800 years. Okay? A period that lasted nearly 800 years. Okay? See if we can get the, say during the 15th century. Yeah, it says about, by 720 Moors rule in the region included, they're not giving, there we go. 756 to 1031. These are just different people that ruled. Okay, so they're not giving the conclusion. Here you go. By 1492, the last independent Muslim state of Iberia fell to the Kingdom of Spain, bringing the end of the Moorish rule. So 1492, right? And when we was talking about, just dealing with the Renaissance period, that was what? Around 1300. Okay, so you got Jake ain't just like Esau fell off and then the Moors just popped in. No, it was Esau fell off, and while Esau was going down, the Jake emperor started coming in via through Rome. Okay, because it's not about was Moors or Christians, and that proved that no, it's about Esau going down as a nation, and then Jake coming up or another rulership coming up into their stead. Okay, so that's pretty much what happened, and you can say you could start with Constantine, and then it ended with you could say the Catholic Church, because the Moors was pretty much the stronghold of that period of the 1,000 years. Okay, but the Holy Roman Empire was the introduction of that transition. Okay, so once we go back into the scriptures, so that 1,000 years Okay, now this is another thing is that let's get this precept as well. Save me fucking my typing, man. I be like, where you get B from an H? Okay. So like I'm just going to the other lab. All right. Isaiah 28:10. Okay. It says, for precept must be upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Okay. See what it says in the NLT. He tells us everything over and over, one line at a time, a little here and a little there. Okay, so he gives what? Context clues, a little here and a little there. Now, once you go into John the Revelator, you will understand that he's receiving visions. So he's writing them down, the visions he see. It doesn't mean that it's in chronological order. Okay, and it'll say that then the angel showed him this, and then the angel showed him that. The angel's just showing them different clips from the movies, man. You know, there's going to be this movie called The Avengers, and you see a scene from that, and there's going to be another movie called this, and you see a scene from that, and you're seeing it in chronological order, but it's not, the movies aren't in chronological order, okay? When you're talking about the earth-wise, okay? And another thing, going back to Revelations, because someone broke it down and said that bottomless pit, and the key was in his hand, and it's talking about the nuclear destruction that is in it, and the smoke cloud is a key. No, man, the key to the bottomless pit is Yahweh Shai having that control. Okay, that with the see here, and that great chain is representative of slavery. Okay, because Europe had a very dominant stronghold via through slavery when they came with the Pope and Caesar Borgia image, and took the northern and southern kingdom down via through slavery, man. Okay, so this is that great chain that happened because a bulk of that that slavery was from Britain. All right, even though I believe the Dutch were the first to come here in the U.S. of A. All right, but the Great Britain, who bought the Louisiana Purchase and all that, they the ones that got bought the Louisiana Purchase, but got the East Coast, you know what I'm saying, down. And you know, once they got the East Coast down packed, what happened? How the Civil War end up happening? Okay, the Civil War ended up happening because Great Britain wanted them to pay taxes. Okay, not Spain, not Portugal. Great Britain wanted them to pay taxes. Okay, and they had slaves then. Okay, a lot of them sanctions, and they had to go back to Great Britain. That's how a lot of Gadites end up getting back into Portugal and Great Britain and things like that. Okay, because they was shipping them back. They was coming with interpreters, even though Jake was over there anyway. But they brought a lot of them back over there to show them their physical prowess, for lack of better words. Okay, so let's continue on. And see here. Yeah, so Satan shall be loose, and after that he must be loose a little season. So let's read that again. Revelations 20:3. It says, cast him into the bottomless pit. What the hell is going on? And shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. Renaissance. After that he must be loosed a little season. Great Britain had a short time of rule. Okay, very short time, because that a daily wound that was healed is technically Great Britain. All right, a daily wound on that dragon that was healed is Great Britain. All right, and that time between Great Britain and America is short. Okay, Great Britain has a stronghold on the world, but it transitioned to America very quickly. Okay. I don't know what is going on here. It says, and I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for Yahweh sake. So this is it's not chronological right here. Okay. This is like he's seeing everything. He's seeing like the last days. He's seeing the process, because John the Revelator wasn't around in the time of Europe. So you can't, he's not going to sit there for 1,000 years and watch every single moment. Okay, the Lord ain't going to sit here and put him through every single moment. You're going to see things, and you're going to see it in visions. Okay, it says, and I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was Salakia. Satan, man, he moving my spot. Yeah, and I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. Salakia. Yeah. That and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai. Okay, and them thrones, goes back to an example is when Peter, was asking Yahweh Shai, what shall we have our take? What should we have? What part should we have in the resurrection? And Yahweh Shai said, "You shall rule with on 12 thrones." Okay, via through the 12 apostles. Okay, but the whole point is that Matthew 28. So we're gonna go to Matthew 27 just to get the meat off the bone. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahweh said unto them, Verily I say unto you, to you that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit on the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon the 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Revelations 20:4, and I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given to them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai. Because this is another thing that's going around, is that the Esau is going to rise up while we no, because the Lord shall beat the swords into plowshares. And it even says when you talk about Gog and Magog that they're going to burn the rifles and everything. Okay. Within that, we're going to continue. It says, and for the word of the Most High, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, right? And that goes back into the mark of the beast, the image of the beast, and what is the beast? It's Esau, the NATO and the EU, in their system, okay? And the image is, representative of their ideas, okay? And the army as well, and that G7, which is a prophetical proof, being Russia not being a part of that, and that 7 heads, man, the Lord is off the chain with it, okay? But the elect won't worship the beast or his image. We're not taking that Jabberwocky. We're not into this alphabet community. We're not into women's empowerment. We're not into anxiety and pills, and we're not into all this the progressional ideas of Esau's wickedness. We're not into what it says being deceived by Esau. And when it says he would deceive the nations no more for 1,000 years, when he was loose, what you think he was going to start doing again? He's going to start deceiving again. And the elect won't be deceived, meaning we won't worship the beast nor his image, neither have received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Yahweh Shai 1,000 years. Okay, that 1,000 years is not the same 1,000 years in verse 3. Okay, these are 2 different 1,000 years. It says, but the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Okay. Now, when you read down a little bit, this is going to tell you a context clue. Blessed and holy is he that have part in the first resurrection. On such, the second death have no power, the second death. When you put in the second death in the Bible, you already know what I'm alluding to. Okay? Yeah, second, not sexing. Fuck. All right, and you go into the second death. Really, it's the chapter after. Okay? As a matter of fact, you can go into verse 14 as well. Let's see here. Because I really just wanted to go into the 1,000 years. I'm gonna go into the other aspects because just for time's sake, and I want to just be able to not rush all the way through it. But I'll just get to the point in Revelations 21 and 8. It says, "But the fearful and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death." Okay, so when you go back into Revelations 5:20 and 5, it says, "But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection." You know, that's pretty much Jake coming back through the loins of the elect, man. Okay, the 2/3 coming back through the loins of the elect, because the ones that were beheaded for Yahushua, the dead in Christ, shall rise first. Okay, the ones that sleep, you know, the great men, our predecessors. A good example is Benloya, you know, which we believe is I believe, and most of the brothers believe. I can't say who don't, but brothers within GMS have voice. Yeah, Benloya is one of them guys, man. Okay, there's men that have passed away in this truth, and they, when those missiles drop, they're going to be the first to rise, because we're all going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye and receive new bodies. Okay, what he said about Lazarus, he sleep. Okay, not dead, just sleep. Okay, and when we rise again, because a lot of if think it's gonna be an apocalypse zombie of the day. No, when the missiles drop, the dead in Yahushua shall rise first, and then the elect are going to be transitioned with him. Okay, and will be transformed and receive the new bodies, you know, via through salvation. Okay, so it says, "But the rest of the dead live not again till the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that had part in the first resurrection. And on such the second death have no power." Okay, it says, "Blessed and holy is he that had the part in the first resurrection." Salakia, I actually had that wrong, because it says, but the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. Okay, and then it says, "This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that have part in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power." So that first resurrection is really dealing with those Jakes, that the elect. That's the elect, the ones that didn't bow down the knee to the image of Baal. Okay, but they shall be priests of the Most High of Yahushua, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Okay, so there's no specifics on what is going to happen after that 1,000 years. Okay, didn't specify, didn't say anything. Okay, but what we do know is that pretty much that the elect are going to be the ones there, and then the 2/3 are going to come through the loins of the elect. Because what's going to happen to those who deal with the second death? Okay, they're going to be destroyed. Okay, and I want to go into that word resurrection, because for a better understanding of the interpretation, it says a raising up, rising, and the dead in Yahushua shall rise first. Okay, and I was because the regeneration and resurrection, two different things. A rising from the dead, that of Yahushua, that of all men at the end of this present age. The resurrection of certain ones, history, who were restored to life. Okay. So that resurrection, rising again, raised to life again, different words that associate with it, pretty much to to get delivered. All right, to inhabit these new bodies is a resurrection in itself. Okay, just simple and plain. To be renewed is a resurrection in itself. All right. So with that being said, I hope this was edifying. I want to say, call all Yabashim Yashai, Yabashim Yashai, Barakakadash, Barakatham, double honor to our apostles, who are elders, who rule well, blessed citations be to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth, sincerity. Hey, Shalom.